ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति 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 Yes, Deepraj?
Janki, in the section about birth and death, in
Mm-hmm.
the first paragraph, uh, it's written, wait, let me open it up. So, in like evolution happens in like uh, rise and fall. So, what does evolution mean in that context?
Any rise, any fall.
No, evolution?
Evolution means an improvement, right? Getting better,
Okay,
a change,
okay.
a development.
So it doesn't like refer to any change, it refers to a change upwards,
Evolution up and devolution down. Yeah.
devolution down. Okay. So all of it happens rising and falling. That's the claim.
Yes. A person is poor, then he works hard, he becomes rich. Then his son also may work very hard and improve the thing. By the time his grandson comes, now this child has grown up in privilege, so he doesn't have that hunger to achieve. Slowly, the wealth depletes.
But it doesn't happen with every single phenomenon. Uh,
Like, give an example.
yeah, say for example, I put my money in an FD and say for some reason this FD is greater than the inflation rate. Then the value of my then the value of my money will keep on increasing.
Yes, the value of that money will keep on increasing, but one day you will pull it out and then it will come to zero. See, either you will be dead or you will pull it out. In either
Okay.
case, it is lost to you, it's lost its value.
But hypothetically, it should be possible to uh, keep that money in, and my son inherits that, and the grandson, and it just keeps on increasing.
Yeah, so you're putting so many hypothetical things, inflation low, no, neither I nor my children, nobody takes it out. So many.
But
And
it's
what's the point of the money if you don't take it out? Like if
yeah.
you're not going to spend it, then what do you have the money for?
Also, yeah, when you so there is some fall and then there is again rise. That's what you mean.
Always there,
Yeah,
always. And
but
every
I mean we can see a lot of situations where it doesn't fall below the base level.
just
I
give
mean
it
you
more time.
okay.
With the addition of time, this law has to function.
That's all. And what about spiritual growth? Because that's the one thing where we cannot have devolution.
But you can increase at that level. That means your sadhana is actually going through rise and falls.
Oh,
To expect that somebody would have consistent sadhana, I mean, that would be one in a billion, just consistently day after day doing. And then also it will fall because he will eventually realize.
eventually we realize.
Then it's finished. Sadhana is over.
Oh, okay. We realize the self. Okay. Hmm. Thank you. Another question was regarding that. So the paragraph after that, where is it? Maybe,
Start with somebody
yeah,
may join
uh,
chapter Vedanta
yes, chapter
17, Law of
7.
Causation.
Yeah. Birth and death section. Page, I think it's page 303 in the Kindle book.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so the I think it's the third paragraph. Creation, destruction, and maintenance are three facets of the same phenomenon. What phenomenon?
This phenomenon, this phenomenon contains three facets
Phenomenon of the individual?
of the
Which
world, of the world.
of the world?
Everything,
Anything in the world?
everything is born and everything will be destroyed. And through this process, creation is maintained.
Through this process, the world is maintained, you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. But necessarily, because change is happening, there are some things that are not maintained.
No, that is that uh what? January dies, February is born, February dies, March
Mhm.
is born. And in this process, the year is maintained.
Yeah, but January may or may not be maintained. I mean, in this cyclical pattern, it's maintained, but say there are species in the past that they're just extinct now. So that particular pattern may or may not be maintained, but evolution is maintained in the development of new species. That's what it's talking about. So
So
not
matter is
all
maintained.
matter is maintained, yeah, but patterns may not be maintained.
Yes, of course.
Ah, thank you.
Okay, so we had started the theory of reincarnation. As always in Vedanta, please notice it is called the theory of reincarnation. Very important that you pay attention to every word that you're hearing. We tend to run it through. Nobody is saying that this happens. This is the theory of reincarnation. We have good reason to believe it happens. Therefore, we are investigating it. Now, can you prove it or not? That I will leave to your judgment. But here is how this works. So, when first reason we had, first way of looking at how we look at it is that everybody knows the law of indestructibility of matter. This is a well established law. So, you know that when a person dies, the body is still there. This body metamorphizes, changes. It becomes, I don't know what, you may burn it and then it's ashes, or bury it and then, maggots eat it, whatever in the world happens to it. But you can see the body is there and the body undergoes some maintenance of its material. I mean, its material, what I mean by that is the material hasn't disappeared, it is merely become something else. Now, the question is that this person, we know for a fact that the person who dies has a bunch of desires, hopes, ambitions, so much is going on in your head, right? Suppose at this moment, any one of us simply pop it, then what happens? Was our mind at completely still? How many things we had going on, right? What will happen tomorrow? What is going to happen here? Am I going to get my new flat? Am I going to get my new bride? Is my FD going to mature and they give me the money? Will it be too difficult for me to take the money out when the FD matures? Millions and millions of things are going through our head. and I die. What happened to that energy? Surely it does not stand to reason that it simply disappears. This goes, right? So, therefore, we have to assume that in some state or in some way it exists. We don't know in what way or what state or in what manner, but we do know that it was there. We don't know that you cannot see it anymore. I mean, you can't see all this movement anymore. So we have to leave this discussion here because we don't know what to do. Now we go to the other side of it. We see that children are born. We see children born with very distinct natures. Okay, this is very easily establishable. Is that a word such as establishable? This is very easily established. Every parent, every uncle, every aunt notices, right? So some people, Mahesh will say, I'm not a parent. How will I know? But you saw your nephews, you saw your niece. Each one is so distinct and different. One is creative, one is philosophical, one is based in engineering. Each one is has a distinct nature. And this nature seems to be almost divorced from the surroundings. Like one thing you may have noticed in your life, especially since you have come to philosophy, is that you always found yourself slightly different from your peer group. You always found this because you had a question that nobody else seemed to have. You had a discomfort with something that nobody else seemed to have. So, born and brought up in the same environment, you find that the child can be distinctly different from the other child. Deep Raj. See, what is Deep Raj saying? Way more than slightly in my experience. Okay. So, at different degrees, everybody has a difference from their peer group. Some more, some less. But the interesting portion is that in spite of all the external circumstances being the same. So now we know for certain that children are born with a definite nature. We know this now for certain, right? No debate here. So Vedanta says that, look, you know that a person who died had desires. You know that the baby who was born has come with certain tendencies and desires. You know this. Can we not intelligently put this together and say, this inclination that you're seeing in the baby now may well be the inclination that you stopped seeing there? This is just like accounting. Since there's a credit entry there, where is our debit entry? That is about it. So, this is what Vedanta is saying. Now, the reason that we paid so much attention is that suppose you say, let's assume this is wrong. Let us say that there is no such thing as reincarnation. If there is no such thing as reincarnation, what other implications will there be? Now, philosophically speaking, at least, the whole concept about the removal of desires and therefore attaining peace will have to go. Why? Because, go ahead. Yes, Deepraj, why?
Yeah, because then desires are automatically exhausted. Why go through all the trouble?
Really? Isn't it? That goes. Another thing that goes is a system for morality. How do we define what is moral? We define morality as that which takes you to the self. Now, there's no self because you just realize, right, that you'll have to remove that. So, how will you have a system of morality? Your morality will never have a solid ground to stand on. Like that, if you start removing this one piece, you will find that a host of other things will go. And when that goes, you will no longer have any sensible way of interpreting this world. Yes, Mahesh?
But can you not take the word of Krishna for establishing reincarnation? Because he has clearly said that I remember all my births, but you do not. He tells Arjuna. Then he also says that this body, the soul leaves the body just like a person changing clothes and takes on another one. So isn't that sort of establishing the truth of reincarnation? Because Krishna talking.
If it does for you, it does. How will a Christian accept that?
Yeah, but Christians may not accept many different things. Uh, I mean, that's
Forget
a,
whatever else they accept or not.
so. Do
If
we then say Krishna is wrong? He's not speaking the truth.
we are not saying any, we're not making a comment on him and his behavior. We are talking about logic. If you have to have a logical base for this argument, then this is a possibility. If you say, no, this argument doesn't exist, then what are the repercussions of it? Now, if you wish to say that, no, I'm taking it on the word of the Bhagavad Gita or on Krishna, then this is specific to you. A philosophy doesn't take it like that. A philosophy would never take it like that. That because so and so said, therefore it is such and such. But if it's acceptable to you, then that's good. I don't have to struggle. Krishna said it and the matter is over.
So you can question. I mean, I just thought, it's the self speaking because he identifies with the self. So I thought, you know, everything that he says is not Krishna as a person saying it, but as the self identifying. So I was just thought, I mean, you have to, if you don't take it as truth, then, the whole, I mean, the edifice crumbles because, then you have to sort of.
The edifice doesn't crumble. If you can disprove Krishna, the edifice of the philosophy will not crumble. The philosophy is a very well documented and researched thing. You can debate Krishna if you want, but how are you going to debate this? I am not debating Krishna. I am telling you a philosophical stuff. As a Hindu, as a teacher of the Bhagavad Gita, obviously I will accept Krishna. But that is just my personal view. It doesn't count in a logical discussion. Somebody else will accept somebody else will accept somebody else. So what?
Okay.
जानकी जी,
Yeah, Meera, आपका
yeah,
आ
okay,
रही है.
okay.
There is Deepraj.
It's just connected with this, what he said.
Okay, go ahead.
It's just that the edifice, there would be no creation if we go according to the edifice saying that if there are no desires, there would be no creation. But then we do see the creation happening. So, I mean, you can logically put it that where do the desires go? And hence you have creation.
Yes, but that was not the current thing. Mahesh's current problem was I don't need to discuss this because Krishna has said so. So I said, yes, fine. If Krishna has said so and you're willing to take it, that's fine. But you cannot tell everybody that Krishna has said so, therefore you take it. Because somebody else will say somebody else says something else.
No, if you're going on the principle of Hindu, the religion that Vedanta is based on, that for self-realization.
Other way around.
Okay.
Your religion is based on Vedanta.
Yeah. So then it is quite obvious and logical to think that where do the desires go?
Why do you need to have any belief in Hinduism or in Vedanta to say that? Suppose I say I don't believe in Vedanta or I don't believe in Hinduism. That statement stands true, right? That where does the desires go? Why would somebody would have to make some explanation, right? So it's got nothing to do with your faith over here. It's got to do with, can you have a logical argument for it?
I mean to say we don't have any proof. That's why it's a theory.
No, what is the law? Why do you need proof? You know that the man had desires. What further proof do you have? Is anybody debating that? And if you accept that the desires were there, then where are they now is the most logical question. I mean, like, why do you need to believe anything?
Okay. Thank you, Janki.
Yes, Deepraj.
Yeah, so regarding the morality point, the atheists have this utilitarian approach to morality where they try to maximize welfare and minimize suffering, which in practice, I mean, depending on your circle of identification, is very simple. Like practically, you end up with the same system that you have when you approach the self. No?
How? How is that possible? Suppose the very, very famous thought experiment. There is a train track. Okay. There is, and it bifurcates into two. One is a live track and one is a track which has never been used, it's a defunct track. There are two children playing on the defunct track and there are 7 children playing on the live track. You are the signalman. Okay? By your signal, that train is going to, by your moving those tracks, it can go on the defunct track for the moment, just to save the children's lives, and save the 7 children, and kill the 2 children who were not disobeying the law, who were playing in what was an acceptable place. Would you choose to kill those 2 and protect these 7 who were playing in the wrong place in the first place? So maximum good for max. It doesn't work in every context, in every situation.
But even like, how does even a Vedantan uh, approach this situation? Because how does he figure out which one will lead him to the self? That's
Each one's individual choice.
yeah, that is dependent on the intellect. Similarly, the utilitarian will look at the situation and he will see which choice will maximize welfare and reduce suffering.
So what? In this case, maximize would be the wrong children would be killed.
And
Can't use it. It's not usable. Anytime you try to put a very definite thing to morality, it won't work. So the argument against the Vedantic stance is you're so abstract, it can work anywhere. That is an argument against it, which is correct. As an argument, it's correct. But as a practical thing, it's a better one. Anyway,
I mean,
let's not go down the morality track too much over here, because at the moment, all we are trying to establish is reincarnation. Yes, Taranjit.
Yeah, hi, Janki ji. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. So I'm coming to the point that you made that because we have desires, so after
I don't you switch on your
okay
video, Taranjit, so I feel like I'm talking to you.
Am I visible?
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay, yeah. So we all have agreed at the point that we have desires and we are now kind of pondering about what happens to those desires once the physical body dies, right? And the one of the possibility is that those desires return back to me when I take the birth, right? That is what we are saying.
Return back to me, I don't know.
Means those desires
stay
are
with me,
carried
yeah.
forward.
Okay.
Those desires are carried forward, and they are with me when we take the birth, right? So I was thinking there can be one another possibility, in the sense that when the physical body dies, all the panch tattva, they disintegrate, right? Similarly, when similar thing may happen to the desires also, they disintegrate, okay? And then during the process of the birth, those disintegrated desires come along, right? And then get attached to that self that is kind of uh, powering the life. So it is not basically my desires per se. It is just the desires which I got born. That's it. It has nothing to do with my own desires when I died, right? It has nothing to do with that. It can be any disintegrated desires in the world, in the universe, which got attached to me at the time of birth. That's it. It can be the second possibility, right?
You have to think this thing through. I mean, it's a very creative solution, but you have to think it through. What would make those particular desires attach? It's almost like you have this concept that here is something, okay, and then these desires like feathers or something come and get stuck to it.
Yeah.
You will have to explain to us two things if you have to go through this theory.
Okay.
One, what is that thing? Number one. Number two, what makes a particular feather come and stick to that thing?
Exactly. So the first thing I can answer, the second thing is a very detailed thing. First thing is because if we believe or we...
But you have only 30 seconds to answer.
Yeah. 10 seconds. So because I'm not the separated self, I am the self, and the self itself doesn't have any desires. So if I really believe in that, or that is the truth, then I am always free. I do not have any desires. So at the time of birth also, it is not that I as a pure self getting any of the desires. It is the separate self that is getting attached, and that is a process which take 9 months or whatever. It's all different science altogether how those get attached.
No,
Right.
wait, stop. The self doesn't take birth. What is that thing which is taking birth?
Yeah, that is the process of creation. That is, it involves the process of creation, that is taking birth. Because the one self that is infinite will know it exists at that point also, right? It can't be that, okay, the separate self has taken the birth and the self has gone somewhere else. No, it can't be. The pure self is present every time, everywhere. It can't go anywhere, right? So self is always
You're
there.
not getting to the crux of the matter. You're
Yeah.
repeating that idea. Something has taken birth.
Yeah, that is the separate sense of the self. That's the only thing.
Whatever
ego.
that X thing is.
The ego.
Okay, so what
The
is
ahankar
ego?
takes birth. The ahankar takes birth.
Right. So you now have to explain what that thing is. But we can't go into these other theories so much, because as you keep on analyzing them, you will find that at the end of it, you're not going to find anything. But please think about it.
Okay.
The more you think about it, the more you will find the, lacunas, if any. So think about it, definitely. Okay. We'll have to keep on poking at that question. What is taking birth? What is taking birth? Just saying ahankar doesn't help, because like saying X. So what is taking birth?
Yeah, that...
According to Vedanta, process. It is those desires themselves.
Yeah, so the desires are getting accumulated at that process. The process is like this. The disintegrated desires.
You'll have to explain why this particular set will come together.
Yeah, agreed. That process has to be explained. But my point is that there are two possibilities. One is the possibility that they remain cohesive unit. All desires remain as a cohesive unit. That is one possibility. The other possibility is they disintegrate and they again reunite. So there are two paths.
No, there's no second possibility, but please do think about it a little further.
Okay.
And hopefully you might find something if you keep thinking about it.
Okay. Thank you.
So where were we? Anybody else had raised their hand? Tinky, you had raised your hand, right? No? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, Kalyan. Go ahead.
Yes, Janki ji, but it's all right because I was not able to grasp her.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Tinky. Yes, go ahead, Kalyan.
Yeah. I was saying, can we not take a simplistic explanation that desires are fulfilled by body, mind, intellect? Body, mind, intellect dies, so desires are gone. So there's no rebirth or anything after that.
What is mind and intellect?
It's part of the body.
So therefore, there is no mind and intellect. Because now you put it in the body, right? So you say brain, for instance. So then there is no mind and intellect according to you.
No, there is mind and intellect.
How? The mind and intellect is not what is your definition of mind and intellect?
It's part of the body.
It's part of the body. So therefore there is no, okay, it's part of the body is not a definition, but I'm trying to go along with you. So it's your brain basically.
Yeah.
And the brain is dead. And mind and intellect doesn't exist. The concept of mind and intellect doesn't exist in the way mind and intellect as defined by Vedanta doesn't exist in your theory. Okay, so basically you will have to now explain, which is what scientists keep trying to do, how do these various thoughts come to you? Okay, so their explanation is activity in the brain, chemicals, electrical currents, purely physical. So there is nothing, there is no such thing as mind and intellect. There's no such thing as the subtle body. That is how the scientists who are involved in that kind of thing take it. And when you first read it, it sounds very reasonable, very logical. However, they have a problem. They reach a problem. It's called the hard problem. Are you aware of the hard problem? It's the hard problem of consciousness. Right? So here we had on this planet Earth many minerals and whatever stuff, right? Stones and minerals and water and air and all this. And then suddenly something twitched into life. What was the difference? What happened? That inert became animate. This is a hard problem of consciousness. So any theory you try to you try to investigate, you will come into problems. So your theory will have to be a theory that gives you minimum problems. The problem with the Vedantic theory is that suddenly now you have to posit a life after death, which logically makes no sense. How can you have life after death? You're dead. So where is the question of life? Right? This is a problem that you have. However, if your philosophy is able to deal with that problem, you will have a complete philosophy. If you say it doesn't fit, then you'll have to remove self, you'll have to remove mind and intellect, the whole thing will go. This is like a last piece we are putting into position so that the whole thing is in place. Now you say, no, I don't accept it, then all the other problems you will inherit. So you choose now which problems you want.
I would rather believe that there's some consciousness.
There is no, if you accept that, then it has to be different from the body.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, instead of saying beliefs, say the most rational possibility. Okay, because it's possible that we may come across some more information at some other time that may give us a different conclusion. So we don't want to end it. We don't want to decide. We don't want to say this is it. But as of current advice, as my father always said, as of current advice, this looks like the most reasonable thing. If anybody has a better one, please let me know. But then please answer all the questions. Don't answer one question. So why we can't take that one? Because it is not simple. It leads to the heart problems. So at the end of it, this one looks like the most simple one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Deep Raj, there's research going on regarding immersion consciousness. So Kalyan can maybe follow that research. Yes, he can. Or he can follow Vedanta and find the self. He has two options. Okay, Tinky, go ahead.
Yeah, Janki ji, before Tinky comes alive, my suggestion to Kalyan is don't follow that route. If he follows that route, then 25 years of my study will go down the drain. So,
if he follows the route and finds the truth, your 25 years of study will come to fruition.
so please don't do that. Huh?
Yeah.
Have some sympathy for me. Thank you. For many of us, not me, but for most of us. Thank you. Sorry, Tinky. Go ahead.
But the thing is, what is amazing is you go here, there, and everywhere. Ask Mahesh. He loves to go. He gets very excited about new theories and what else is happening. He hasn't still found anything that answers his questions. Eventually, you see him back in class. Every week, he goes and investigates something else. No answers are to be found there. Vedanta has told us a long, long time ago, years and years ago. That's an amazing thing. How come nobody has found anything else? If somebody said something 10,000 years ago, and people have been doing research for 10,000 years, then why are they not being able to establish something else? Nobody has established anything. It's kind of crazy. But it's a wonderful thing that we are heirs to this wonderful knowledge. And this land is somehow imbued with that knowledge. I don't know how. In just years and years and years of people thinking of this on this soil. And it's all in our veins, this knowledge. Even people who don't agree with it, reject it outright, even they are using this knowledge without them knowing. Do you realize that a lot of that many aspects of our vocabulary comes all the way down from the Vedas? A very simple thing, what we use in our everyday language. We say, "Arey Baba, why are you behaving like this?" We all say that. No, everybody in this country says that, isn't it? Arey Baba, Arey Deva, Arey this, Arey that. Where is this word Arey coming? Do you know it's a word from the Vedas? For the last 10,000 years in this country, we are saying Arey. It's there, written. And when you read it, you say, oh my God, even they are saying it like so long ago. So there is this sort of unconscious memory with us of the things that our ancestors have done for so long. We don't know we're using this thing. We don't know that we say it's Shavasan, right? You know what Shava means?
Dead body.
Dead body.
The whole country is saying it's dead body. We use that. It actually doesn't mean that. It means something from which something has departed. You're carrying this memory with you that this philosophy was written here. It's sleeping, basically. Something has departed. Like you say, na, guzar gaya. You don't say wo mar gaya. Wo chal basa. So chal basa, he died and he started walking. What do you mean by this? Chal basa. You're always referring in this culture to a person who has died having left. It's a very interesting thing. So that the memory of this philosophy is in our culture still. And we don't know what we are doing, of course. Like you don't know that when you say Are, you're quoting the Vedas.
Janki, what is the exact meaning in Sanskrit of Are?
The same meaning as it has now. It's a Vedic word. Like it says Are Maitri in Are Priye. You know, same meaning as it has today. There's no meaning. I mean, it's a meaningless word that we have been using for 10,000 years. Its meaning has not changed. Many words, the meaning changes, but Are meaning has stayed exactly the same. Okay, Tinky. But you can write your question here also. And if I see it, then if it comes, we can deal with it. Right. Okay, so where were we? There are the desires of a person who is dead that we know exist. We don't know at the point of death what happened. There are desires in a newborn, meaning his tendencies, his inclinations, all of that. You know, all of that comes from his nature, his desires. So a newborn has a nature. A dead person has a nature. Where did the dead person's nature go? And where did the newborn's nature come from? This is after the question in front of us. So some people like to answer that by saying it is from your DNA. It is from your genes. That's how some people have answered it. So Ramatirtha, of course, took it head on and said, what do we have to say about this? Because, yeah, you have these genes and therefore you function in this manner. Yeah. So let's see what Vedanta has to say about that. Who will read?
I can read.
Please.
Another popular belief is that the newborn inherits the tendencies of its parents, that the law of heredity establishes it. The law of karma does not oppose the concept of heredity. It corrects the general misconception that the equation between parent and child emanates from the parent. It is not the parents that determine the nature of the child, it is vice versa. The child determines the parents. The law of karma explains how the resultant effect of one's mental and intellectual energies would find the right body, parents, and environment, with no extraneous power deciding this choice. So, the common conception is that the child inherits a parent's nature, but Vedanta says it's the opposite. It's the child's, the individual's resultant desires picks which environment he gets born in, which parents he gets born under.
Right. Your desires pick your environment. You already know this. So if you already know this, that because of your desires, you go wherever you go, then the same thing should happen after death, right? Your desires pick where you go. And then the parents you're born in are the ones you have picked, and therefore your hereditary stands true. Why does Deep Raj have certain facial features? Because he's from the east of our country. Why does Taranjeet have a different type of facial features? Because he's from the west of the country. But why was one born in the east and one in the west? Because that is what they wanted. Just like Some people have come to the class. Why have they come to the class? Because that is what they wanted. Some people have not come to the class. Why have they not come to the class? Because that is what they wanted. So you will say, oh, all these people who have come to Vedanta, Vedanta gives them these characteristics. No, they came here because they had those characteristics. Otherwise, they wouldn't come. Vedanta can merely hone the characteristics. If you didn't have an intellect, this will not appeal to you in the first place. But once you come here, Vedanta can hone the intellect, can sharpen it. Right? Suppose you don't have a desire for alcohol. You won't go where alcohol is. But if you do have a desire for alcohol, then wherever you go, you will drink that type of alcohol. So if you're born in Goa, you will drink Feni. If you're born in Germany, you will drink beer. If you are from France, you will drink wine. If you are from Scotland, you will drink Scotch. If you are from Punjab, also you will drink Scotch. So wherever you are born, that will determine what type you will have. It doesn't determine that you have a desire. I hope that's clear. So your environment is only influencing, honing, molding your desire. It is not giving you that desire. Yes, Deepraj?
So here the environment that the desires are looking for is a body for manifestation. So is it correct to say that the body exists as a dead form and then the desires latch onto that body?
What is the exact mechanism? We cannot say. That medical science will have to say. But like at what point does the fetus, at what point is it alive? At what point do you consider it? Is it at the point of conception? Is it at the point of birth? I mean, obviously it may not be at the point of birth, but I don't know. That medical science has to tell us.
But it's definitely not happening before the formation of the zygote. So it has to be at least after the formation of zygote. So it's not like one picks the parents before the formation of zygote. It's like after the formation of zygote, because only at that point the DNA is established. So if a choice has to be made, it has to be made that point forward.
Not my subject, so I cannot comment.
Vedanta doesn't say how this movement takes place.
Not that I have found any. And the way that it does say, if I talk about that now, it will just throw this whole thing off. So let's just go step by step. So, yeah, Saranjit.
Yeah, Jangi. I think Deepraj already touched upon the thought that I had. So, because that was the same question in my mind, that when we say child has chosen the parents, or it is the other way around. So what exactly we mean by the child, right? And Deepraj touched that point, that whether it is at the point of zygote conception, or during those pregnancy 9 months periods, or when the actual birth take place, that is the child that we are referring to, or what is that point when we say something has picked the parents? So what is that? The child, whatever that is, right?
That bundle of desires.
Sorry?
That bundle of desires.
But those bundle of desires will be then are okay. Let me put it this way now. So when the person dies, that bundle of desires has been decided.
What has been decided?
The bundle of desires.
No, that is a bundle.
That is decided now. That is decided now.
So that he has, okay.
Till the next birth comes.
Meaning, you mean will it stay the same till the next birth? Is that your question?
Yeah, means when the person dies, there is a bundle of desires.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the first part of our discussion was that at the time of birth, the the incarnation is taking place that has come along with some desires. So I'm just joining these 2 points is that which way we should think that the bundle of desires at the time of that are the same set of that remains constant, and it is the same set of bundle of desires which is incarnating, or something happens between even that birth, death and birth, that bundle of desire may change.
It is possible for it to change. We'll come to that. I think he is spoken about that as in
last page, second last.
Yes, correct. So it's still there because you know sometimes when he comes out with a new edition, suddenly he removes something and then yes. So this edition still has it. We'll discuss it when it comes. What happens between two births?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so where were we? Right. So what is the thing? At which point does the child choose its parents, Tinky? We are not going into that at the moment because that is a lot of different ideas which you are going to study in future chapters. You seem to have, all of you seem to have got this notion that there is this world and this bundle of desires is wandering here and there, trying to choose a parent. That is not what happens. That sounds funny to think, the little bundle going here and there, this parent is good, that parent is good. Obviously, that's silly. That's not what happens. So we are not going to be discussing that over here. And therefore, this question of when does this child get these desires and all, it doesn't fit the philosophy. However, we're not going to discuss that now because this is complicated in itself. So we'll worry about that when those complications come. Here onwards, it's only complication. So one complication at a time we will take.
Thank you.
And so, right, so what did we learn now? That it is the child's desires or it is the individual's desires that give him a certain parentage and give him a certain environment. Please do not have this notion that, they're floating around in space interviewing prospective parents and then saying, okay, you be my parent now. Doesn't work like that. Right, so then we come to the second problem that this poses. Suppose we accept this. Suppose we accept in logic that everybody is just going where they want to. Okay, suppose we accept this. This logically speaking.
Sorry.
Yes,
sorry. Just a thought came. Sorry to interrupt you. So when it is relating to this point only that the child is selecting the parent. So if I'm not wrong, in our old tradition, there was a kind of a sanskar like for the baby to be born, right? There are some, I don't know, 16 or 17, what, I don't remember the exact because I have not studied. There is a set of rituals that are done before the baby is born or something like this. And what I understood from those sanskars is that parents are trying to invite certain set of souls, right? That is what they say. So how these two, you will align these two things?
Nothing. Please don't go down that direction. It's impossible. I do not have this notion in your head. Everybody for the class, please do not have this notion that there is some bundle of desires, like one wound up ball of wool or something, and it's going around everywhere. Imagine now. Just imagine how funny that would be, right?
No, I'm not imagining
that. Coming and assessing me right now. Is this lady good enough to be my mom? Let's go check her husband out. That's silly, right?
No,
it doesn't work like this.
I'm not saying that it is that bundle means the soul which the parents wants to get incarnated. That is the whole purpose of those sanskar. That okay, a right kind of soul.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
I'm trying not to go into that area because it will just be more confusion.
Okay.
So let's not get into that area. In another chapter, it is going to come up. We'll deal with it then.
Okay.
As it is confusing. More things we don't want now.
Okay. Thank you.
Tinky?
Yes, Janki ji, I read Lord Krishna says that you'll think of me because your last thoughts will take you to your next life. So is it because of that that we go into that whichever environment? And he also says that the spiritual, your spiritual progress and whichever point you're at, it's not something you lose, but you will continue from that point in your next life. This is, I think, my understanding from one of the chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. So
Yes,
that
but it is
that
not
could
true
be the
that
thing that
yeah, it's not true that correct. What you're saying is true, but it's not true that at the last minute you think of Krishna and you will go to him. It doesn't work like that. At your last minute, you will continue to think what you are thinking now. Because you cannot have an effect without a cause. You cannot suddenly superimpose things. If you want to think of Krishna at the last minute, you please start thinking now. You will think then exactly what you're thinking now. If you're thinking, oh, what is happening to my grandchild, then in your last moment also you will be thinking what is happening to my grandchild. So let's go to the second problem. That
that's why even when you go about your work, so that moment, I don't know if you can. Yeah.
Your voice is disconnected, so I can't quite get what you're saying. But anyway, let us continue. So, if we have accepted, for argument's sake, that we go wherever our desires are, okay, suppose we take that stance in this life also, in any time, in life, after life, whatever, we go wherever, what we want, we go basically. How does it explain that people are born in circumstances not of their choice? If you had to ask Prahlad, do you want Hiranyakashipu as your father? Would he have said yes? If you had asked Vibhishana, do you want Ravana as your brother? Would he have said yes? So why do people go where it seems that they don't have desires there? So this is the next problem we will confront when we are going with this theory. Right? What is our theory so far? That a person dies. Where does he go next? Where his desires are. Why do we say this? Because even in life, that is what he does. He goes where his desires are. You've come to this class because you have desires for this class. After this, what will you do? You'll go to wherever your next desires are. If this be true, then why is it that people are not where what they did? Maybe people are not born into parents that they would have liked. Some parents are horrible parents. Why did they choose those parents? Some children, they're born and their parents die. Why would they choose such a situation? That's not what they wanted. And then going from orphanage to orphanage or foster home to foster home. So the big question in front of us to be answered now, if desires are the cause of life, and therefore what happens after life, then why is our life not according to our desires? Okay, so now we have only 1 minute. So I guess we shouldn't try to answer that question now. We will take it up next time. Annie, are you new to class? Is it first, or are you LC's sister?
Yes, I'm new. I'm new. I've just joined today, and I've been reading. I didn't want to butt in, but we've been reading a lot on karma theory. So I think what I had understood from what I've been reading till now is that everything happens are of our karmas. It's all unfinished karmas which we have already lessons to be learned. We have not come here for roti, pani, khana, pina, naukri. No. These are lessons which we have come here to learn to make our souls more evolved. And we just are stepping up. These are just stairs to just kind of evolve ourselves. And it's because of that we choose our environment. We choose how people are going to facilitate that process of to evolve. That's what I think. Till now I understood that. I just didn't want to say anything because my understanding is completely different till now. So I'm just curious to know what this is all about.
Your understanding is different, but what your words are correct. What you're saying, every bit of it is correct. Now how do you understand it is the question. So here is a quick understanding that each one of us is made up of desires. Removal of desires means enlightenment or self-realization. Karma means those desires. When we have these desires, we move in this world and face the consequences of those desires. There is no value judgment associated with it. It's a simple law of causation. So as you conduct yourself properly with the desires reduce, and what do you call it? You climb the ladder of your evolution, however you described it. So everything you said was correct. But when you come next time, maybe you can see how it all fits into what you have said, except that you have said it in a very poetical manner. And now you need to know what are the facts of the issue. The saying is not incorrect. It's just poetical. It's descriptive. It's not telling anybody anything. It becomes a matter of belief. In philosophy, we don't deal with beliefs. We deal with facts and conclusions you can establish from those facts. Okay, so yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'll meet again next time.